Today we're going to be talking about repairing a linkage that connects your passenger side to your driver's side windshield wiper. It's a known problem, a linkage that's in here that after time the joints or the linkage comes loose and falls off. You don't have to replace the whole assembly. There is a kit that you can buy and you can modify it slightly and make it work so that you can repair your windshield wipers. So I've removed the wiper assembly from my Jeep to fix what seems to be a common problem. This is the wiper assembly. There's nothing wrong with it as far as the motor is concerned. The connections are fine. This is good. The problem is right here. This fell off a few days ago while I was driving, and it left me with only the driver's side wiper working. So what happens is these little arms right here, they get brittle and eventually break off from where the joint is right here. It's a flawed design. It's made out of plastic. I don't know if that's by design, but classic manufacturing, a piece that should be constructed very sturdily is made from a very hard plastic that eventually becomes brittle and falls off. This is how easy it comes off. Already came off on that end and disconnects from this end as well. It's not a very good construction, and it's prone to break quite often from what I've already seen online. So there it is. Mine is a 2007, and in my view, a piece like this should last the life of the vehicle. So I was driving one in the rain yesterday when all of a sudden this popped loose. I didn't know at the time what it was, but this broke loose completely, leaving me with only one wiper. And I've seen repairs online where you can get those little knuckles or those little pieces using another kit that I'm going to show you. So in order to repair this very flawed design, in my opinion, this plastic gets brittle after a while, and your linkage between your two wipers, left and right, is no longer available. This is made of metal right here. This is made of metal, nicely greased up, but the connection joint, the socket, is made of plastic, and it will eventually break or become brittle, and you will lose it when you need it the most. I'm gonna try what I've seen online where people say to buy this Dorman, it's a wiper repair kit. It says here wiper linkage bushing assortment from Dorman, product number 49447, and it comes with a variety of bushings. It says here that it's made for Chrysler, Ford, GM, Jeep. Let's see if that's true, because we're going to try and modify one of these to fit in here on both ends and simply have it connect back into this joint. If I just put it back on, it will fall off as soon as the wipers feel some tension. It will break off again. You do not have to buy this whole assembly. If this assembly is working perfectly fine on your vehicle, and mine, for example, is a 2007 Jeep Rubicon JKU, I don't see any need to replace this whole thing. It runs almost $200. This was $4.25. So let's go ahead and try that repair. I'll try and film it for you in case you have to do that similar or to another similar vehicle. Let's go for it. So the first step in putting these bushings is trying to find the right size. And so you're gonna try and match up the best fitting bushing to this knuckle right here, this knuckle joint. And I've tried all of them that came in here. This one, it's too big. It's just too big. It will not make any good contact. This one is too small. And it appears that this one could work, but that's gonna be my second choice. I get 2 of those, and you will need 2, 1 and 2. I'm gonna go with these. This is the ones that they're saying should snap into place here. I might have to cut a little notch on here to allow it to open ever so slightly, and that will lock into place. But first, I need to put this on to replace the broken piece right here. Okay, so I've got to knock this out completely, and there's no way of removing it in order to put that one without breaking it. This has to come completely out. It's already broken anyway. You can see where it's already broken. So I've got an oversized socket, and I'm just gonna break it loose by tapping that out. I don't care if it breaks, but you got to remove that piece. So before you start breaking things apart, I like to label it and to show me how it was originally put together. This joint was here, this joint was there, and I've numbered each 1 and 1 to tell me that this is gonna be facing like that, and joint 2, which I labeled over here 2, is gonna fit underneath. So the orientation, one's gonna be facing up and the other one is gonna be facing down because it's gotta connect here. So it's important to label everything before you start breaking it apart so that you can put it back correctly. The short one, I've labeled 1, short being this piece, and the longer one, I've labeled 2, and the orientation as well. One goes up and the other one will go down. So be wary of that. One of the joint faces up while the other one faces down. Keep that in mind. And there we go. You need to have it just clean like that. I'll show you what's next. So the next step is going to be to remove these little wings right here. You're just going to file them down ever so slightly, maybe to the edge of the rounded area. File those down ever so slightly and keep trying to fit them into that hole until they lock into place. So taking some measurements, I measured the interior diameter of this circle, and it's 15 millimeters. The diameter of this area right here, where that little groove runs, is 17 millimeters. So you're gonna file it down ever so slightly because this has to fit in there, not exactly, but actually tight. So try and file this from here to here, from there to about 16 millimeters. I just used a simple measuring device and I measured 15 millimeter interior diameter. And here is my finished one. As you can see, I trimmed it down very quickly with a little sander, but be careful because that takes off a lot of material. You just need to take it ever so slightly off and notch a small area right there. You see that? I don't know if you can see that. And now, I've already installed one. Now I'm gonna put it on the next one. And I labeled it cup to mean that the little cup, the little joint has to be on that side. So I'm gonna try and do this. Just put it on a joint, and with a small hammer, just tap it in. There we go. It's set. And here is the piece. I've already put this one here and here. I put a little bit of grease inside. Any kind of grease will do. And I also greased up each of the joints that I'm going to push this into, because now you're gonna take this and remember your numbers. 1, see that's 2, and 1. And I'm gonna push this one into this to set it into place, and then put the other one here and set it into place. I've never done this part, so let's see. You should just push in and secure very tightly, but not too tight. That's why we have grease, that it won't allow the wipers to rotate. So let's go ahead and try that. Okay, now we are just looking at this before we close everything up. I've connected everything just to try it, and you can see that that joint is now moving in unison with my other wiper. That's the fix that we did right there. Seems to be holding. Now we're just gonna put it back together. And there we are. Both wipers are now connected, they're joint, and we're hoping that that link that we made, that repair, will hold.